everybody to say hi and give me a thumbs up if they can hear, but I haven't seen any comments.
Oh, I see the comments.
Oh. So I'm glad you can see them. I don't know why I'm not seeing them.
It's, you know, hey, at least we're on here and one of us can see.
Right?
Hello, everybody. We had great success while we're waiting for everybody to join. We had great success launching our Spirit Exchange, and it's pretty full, but we still have some a la carte spots open for $25. April 4th is the first one. So if you go to either of our websites, you'll see a la carte, and you can come for a gallery, a more intimate gallery reading with Kathy and myself. Oh, good,
Yay.
good. It must have just taken a bit
Yep.
to click over there. See my new beautiful baby?
It is. It's very pretty.
I don't, we're getting a dog in a couple of months, but for now I'm just obsessing over plants.
Well, and I love that it's purple.
Oh, yes. They had really pretty spring ones, and I don't know if that's a natural color necessarily, because the purple ones I've had before were like darker, deeper, because they had some bright colors that I thought maybe had a little dye. But hello, everyone. We're so happy to be here. I'm getting a storm as we speak, so if I disappear, I'll come back when I can.
Yeah, same here. We just had one roll through, so I think we're okay for now.
Yeah, good. How's your new spot?
I'm trying to make the best of it, right?
Okay. Yeah.
You might see me moving a little bit more over here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. So if you go sideways, I know why. All right, Scranton, Michigan. I'm in Central Florida, UK. Hi, Mandy. It must be the middle of the night or midnight there. Idaho, Central Pennsylvania, Hershey's Chocolate, Nummy Nummy, Arizona. Where are you, Kathy?
Still in South Carolina.
How's the pollen?
Oh, it's so bad. I've never experienced such bad allergies. Yeah.
Yep.
So I guess it's tree and grass right now. And I have never experienced this. Like I've gone through what is that, Claritin, I've gone through Allegra, then I tried Zyrtec, then I tried Benadryl. It's like, oh my God.
Well, you know, for the longest time when I lived in Savannah, it must be because you're closer to the coast, because when I would go to Columbia, South Carolina, I didn't have any allergies, no matter how bad they were in Savannah. It must be because you're, I don't know, closer to the coast. I don't really know. Georgia's so pretty. Maryland, Oklahoma, Tornado Alley right there. Southwestern Pennsylvania, Neti Pot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got to get distilled water for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you know, brain-eating amoebas. They're famous down here.
Doreen.
Hello, welcome everyone. So don't forget, you can join us a la carte for only $25 for a gallery. There's only, what do we have, 5 spots left for that? For the gallery for $25, a smaller group, Kathy and I on Zoom. You can go to either one of our websites and click the a la carte, and the dates on mine are a little wonky, but it's still April 4th, so I'm trying to fix it. We'll get there. I do have a coupon for private readings for this group only. It's proof 50 for $50 off of any reading. So if you want to book a private reading and you want a discount, $50 off.
That's awesome. That's a great deal.
And I have weekday and weekday evening readings available now too. So that way it frees people up if they want a weekday or evening during the week. I'm a little tired. We're tired around here this week.
So do you want to take some questions?
Yes.
Do you want to answer some questions? So We'd love it if you'd put some questions you have regarding spirituality, mediumship, how we connect, if we connect with animals, if you want to talk about some dreams you might have had, any experiences you've had. Peaceful Nik is a scientist. Nicole is a scientist, so she has all your answers to those scientific questions. So please put your questions in the chat, and we're happy to answer those for you.
If you want to watch a very interesting, I'm about halfway through, show that has a lot to do with science, but it's very sci-fi. It's called Three Body Problem, and it's on Netflix, and it is a brain getter. I mean, it is really, I like interesting things that are different and not the same all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's Three Body Problem. Very good. I'm only halfway through. I can only do it in small doses, a little bit at a time. But I do want to talk about, while the questions are coming in, real quick, because we got a lot of questions already. So I had a client email me and ask me if their loved one that they had just gotten a reading from me about was their soulmate. And I was like, I'm so happy you asked that question, because there's a lot of people who sell soulmate readings and twin flame readings, and I'll draw your soulmate, I'll draw your twin flame. I didn't get a lot of sleep. So, and I was like, you can have a soulmate that comes into your life for one day or 50 years. It can be this person happened to be a romantic partner. It can be a romantic partner. It can be a best friend. It can be a cousin. It can be a parent. It can be a pet. It can be any being with a soul can be your soulmate, because we come in soul families or soul groups, and we incarnate in different relationships over time, over thousands of years, or we on different planets. Some people believe we have other lives. So soulmate, just so everybody knows, isn't always just a romantic partner.
Right.
It can be someone else. And the other thing I told her is, you don't have one soulmate. You have many soulmates, because we're in a soul group or soul family. And she hasn't answered me yet, so I hope I didn't make her mad. But if somebody asks, I'm going to tell them. All right.
So the question started back with Nicole, and she said, how do you connect to animals? So Peaceful Nik, you connect to animals too, so don't just say that I do.
But it's your specialty.
But really, I can connect with living animals. Oh, I just got lightning detected in your area. I could connect to living animals and animals that have crossed over. And so I just want to say everybody can, okay? Especially with your animals here in the physical world that you share that bond with, that soul bond with, you can connect to them here too while they're in the physical world. But connecting to animals and spirit is just the same for me as connecting with your loved ones. So it's no different. They communicate just the same by dropping thoughts, feelings, all sorts of images into my mind or into my awareness. So I hope that helps.
And you do a beautiful job. Did I?
So,
I went backwards on the questions.
So Peaceful Nik, Donna's question and Megan's question, I want to give that to you, because they're talking about how to connect with their own loved ones, and how do you develop mediumship skills. So,
okay. So I got certified to teach mediumship about 2 years ago, and I do have one-on-one classes that we work with each other's schedule, because not everybody can come to the group classes, and I have group classes. And so you learn things like moving your mind to spirit, holding that connection to spirit, how it works, the fact that your loved ones aren't far away. They're right here overlapped with us, like another dimension or realm or something. But most people don't physically see it. So you can learn those things. I have a bunch of stuff on my YouTube channel. Peaceful Nik the Medium is Nik is the name. And there's a playlist of learning and information about mediumship. And so there's a bunch of stuff there for free. And some of my introduction classes are on there as well. So if you like that, if you like those pieces of information, the way I present it, you can email me, contact me, and I can help you, or just enjoy the videos. You can learn plenty from those. It's up to you, but I'd be happy to answer any questions via email as well. And all of that stuff. Oh, I forget, this is my personal
Right.
page. It's,
I was just going to say,
yeah.
you give them Peaceful Nik the Medium.
So if you search my name in the group, you'll see all my posts, and it has all my links to my website and my email and stuff. But it's Peaceful Nik, Nik, the medium @gmail.com or .com if you want to go to the website. And
I wanted to address this question that Tanya has. Do you connect with a child who is nonverbal? Can you connect? And yes, because in the spirit world, we connect telepathically. We connect by raising our vibration. We connect by using our clair. So we use our senses. We use our thoughts, our feelings, our hearing. So absolutely. In fact, if you go on to my Facebook page, Messages from Spirit, I have a validation story from a mom from her daughter in spirit who was nonverbal. And she asked her for a sign. She said, I'm going to go to this free mediumship demonstration. Please give me a sign. This is what I want you to give her. This is what I want you to do. This is what I want you to say to validate it's you. And she did. She did.
beautiful.
So, yeah.
Absolutely beautiful. I was giving a reading once, and the person, I could see the gentleman in spirit. I could see every detail. He was just standing there silently. And I'm like, oh no, the mediumship panic, right? Like, why isn't he saying anything? He's just standing there. He's not. And I talked to my guide and I'm like, help. And, all this is going on in my mind, not outwardly. And I said to the client, I said, he looks like this, he's doing this, he's just standing there, he's not talking. And they said he was mute. And I said, well, that explains it, because that's the evidence. He's standing there silent and he wouldn't talk no matter what I did until I said that. Then he communicated, like you said, telepathically with information that was like talking. But I thought that was beautiful. So yeah. And people ask about other languages. Can you
Same thing.
communicate? Same exact thing. Same exact. Um, Oh, do you think, Linda, this is a great question. And my master's degree is in astronomy. So do you think the eclipse is going to affect people's moods? So I've always been a believer of, I'm kind of halfway on the line of, I have true science degrees, but I always kind of push the fringe just because the advances in our scientific world happen because of people who push out to the fringes, because we can't explain everything in the natural world with just normal science. There's other stuff we don't understand. And the eclipse and the moon, I'm a big moon maniac. I believe the full moon does affect people. It affects me. I was not not that happy this past weekend or whatever day it was. I'm kind of mixed up on the days, whenever the full moon was. And yes, it can affect people's moods. If you're in the path of totality, it can be overwhelming and beautiful, and just a sense of how small and insignificant we are. But it is a beautiful event. Make sure you have the correct glasses on, so you don't go get eye damage, but it definitely can affect people's moods. Some people will use, I have some acquaintances who will use these types of things as an excuse to be a certain way. So, we can still control ourselves. You know, we can still control ourselves. We still have the ability to be mature and not, you know, do dumb things. But yeah, it can affect us. I do believe that. Paige says, what is the description of spirituality to you?
Oh boy, that's a long answer, right?
It's a loaded question.
Yeah, right. It's truly believing in there's more to this than meets the eye. There's more to our existence than just this physical world. That we're here for a purpose, we're here for a reason. We have a soul, and our soul is here to grow. Not only here in the physical, but our soul is there to grow, evolve, and to it's so I want to say, like, to just go through all these different dimensions and to find purpose and to elevate and to it's just very hard to explain in just a short little
blip. Yeah. There's not a talking point for spirituality.
No.
It's complex and it's different for everyone.
Yes.
Everybody has their own relationship with source, God, whatever deity, the universe, whatever you call it. There's a different feeling for everyone. My connection is probably very different from Kathy's connection, right. But we both feel connected to the spirit world, very much so, because every day we're working in the spirit world.
And it's just, for me, it's just a knowing that we're bigger than this, right? We're bigger than this.
And our bodies are only temporary.
Right.
But our soul is eternal. I do believe that. And speaking of that, I believe in the multiverse theory. That was part of one of the areas I studied in my astronomy studies. And I believe, because I believe everything in our universe is recycled, why wouldn't everything in multiple universes be recycled? Just, it's eternal. So that is true. Our soul is eternal, and it will go on and on and on and on. Even though our universe has a finite lifetime, our sun has a finite lifetime too, which is much shorter than the universe, but it will be recycled into another universe and another and another, and there's no beginning and no end. That is true. That is absolutely true. I have been told several times that I am an earth angel. Could you explain this further? I do not have any information on that. Do you understand that?
Well, and it depends on what you're saying, and maybe give us a little bit more of the circumstance, why you've been told that. Yeah, give us a little more information on that, because I do believe there are angels walking on this earth. Just a little story. I was reading it here, I think in this group, in fact, and if it's not in this group, it was in another group, but a woman was describing how somebody she was connected to is passing away, and they said, when I transition, I want you to send me, or I'm going to send you $100 just to let you know that I'm okay. So then in her story, she said, a few days later, a stranger approached her, asked her for directions on how to find a market or something, and shook her hand or whatever, and gave her money, and she looked at it. It was $100 bill. So that person, in my opinion, was an angel on earth, right? Completing that mission, right?
That is a beautiful story. And I'll tell you, I have one a little closer to home. My sister, probably 1993 or 4, somewhere in there, was driving from Missouri, St. Louis to Lexington with her 4 children in the car. And it was nighttime. Her husband wasn't with her, and she hit a deer in the middle of the night. And there were no cell phones. She was all alone with these 4 young kids, 8 and under, and she was in Indiana, I think, which is far from Lexington, Kentucky. And a person drove up, a woman in a van, drove her all the way home, you know, a couple hundred miles at least, it had to be. And she offered her money. She asked for her contact
Yep.
information. She wouldn't take anything, wouldn't tell her anything, dropped her off at home safe and sound. And I think that was an angel. I always believe that. And they were all safe. None of them got hurt. Because if any of you live in an area where you can hit a deer, people don't survive that sometimes. Because, yeah, and she had all those kids in the car. Oh, it was crazy.
Well, you know, that when you were telling that story, it reminded me, like a year or two ago, my sister's house in the middle of the night started on fire. The fire started outside, and it was like 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and everybody was sleeping. My sister, my brother-in-law, my niece and nephew, and she said somebody called the fire department, and that's how they were alerted. And they saw the woman. My nephew saw the woman. She said, "Oh, I'm just walking my dog. I live down the street." My sister's like, "We've lived here for 18 years. I've never seen that lady before. I've never seen that dog before, and I haven't seen her since." So I'm like, angel on earth, right?
Yeah. Yeah. That gave me chills.
Yeah.
That gave me chills. Wow. That is so beautiful. Paige wants to know, if you're in low vibration, can you connect with spirit, or does your energy have to be pretty high?
Well, for me, I think once I connect, I get that like rush and that feeling.
Yeah.
So anytime I connect, I feel that raise in energy.
I agree with that completely, because today I'm having a little low energy day. It might be the weather, might be some, you know, whatever other life stuff. But once I connect, just like you, it's like I get super hyper. Like after my readings, I get energized, no matter how. But if I'm sick, I've made this mistake before. I did do a reading when I was sick one time, and I shouldn't have done it. And it was a disaster. So don't do that. Don't do that. I'm just kind of skipping the reading questions. Oh, thank you, Lorraine. Shirley, yes, of course, your mom will be in the spirit world, and she is perfectly safe and at peace. And yes, she will come around you. Yes, she does. Trying to remember dreams. I don't have advice about that. I have my own dream problems that I'm trying to work out. I have so many dreams. It's like I never sleep. Do you have any advice on remembering dreams?
Well, and she said that, you know, she goes on to talk about her trauma. So maybe I would just focus on working on that trauma first before. And of course, we're not going to ever not grieve. Grief will be with us. We're changed after such a loss. So for one, be easy on yourself, right? Give yourself grace. Work on that trauma. And I feel that those things will kind of fall in place for you once we start healing a little bit. It'll become easier for you because you will make room in your mind for spirit to come through. When we kind of clear our mind with that stuff, that human stuff that we hold on to, those emotions. I'm not saying that you should let go of your grief, not at all. Grief, it will always be there in some way, right?
Yeah.
But if we learn to live with it and we learn to process it and start on a healing journey, your dreams should become more memorable or easier to remember.
Linda has a question. I think you'd be a great person to answer. Do you think that your dog's spirit can adhere to your soul and stay here on earth until you pass and it goes with you?
I do not believe so. And the only reason why I say that is because every reading I've ever done for animals, even for humans, they show me crossing over to the spirit world. And when I say crossing over to the spirit world, it for me is they are telling me they're going home. They're safe at home. We're all from spirit. We're all souls here having a human experience. So yes, your dog goes to to the spirit world when we transition. Your dog, a piece of your dog's soul will always be with you, and your dog will be waiting for you when you transition.
And just to piggyback on that, because when people say they see ghosts or spirits, it's the soul belongs to spirit world. They can just come here anytime they want. They're not stuck here.
Mm-hmm.
So like my mom, I have her baby pictured, my grandma and grandpa over there. They're all passed. I feel her with me all the time, but I know she's in the spirit world. But because it's not far away, it's kind of intertwined with us, they can be around. So the souls aren't stuck here. They can just come and go as they please.
Yes. Yes, I love that.
Diva had a dream about a friend they haven't heard from since 2020, nor her family. Thinks she's passed. You feel her body is outdoors. Have you talked to a forensic medium?
And that would definitely be something that you would want to address in a private session, a one-on-one session, and a forensic medium is going to want some more information. So definitely, I've taken some of those classes and worked on missing persons cases. It's not as easy as just going one time.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot involved in something like that. So it's definitely worth booking a private session with a forensic medium if you want answers or if you need answers.
And make sure if you do that, they're legitimate and they can give you references, because anybody can tell you anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've seen famous mediums in the past on TV. One of them she's passed now, but she used to say this person was here and this person was there. And one of the famous cases, the person was still alive. And so make sure you are.
So can I give, I want to give her my teacher's information.
Okay, I put your websites in the chat. You want me to put your email?
Put my email. I would love to give you a reference for that. I want to give you my
Medium
teacher.
Kathi.
Yep, mediumkathi@gmail. Send me an email, and I'm happy to refer you to my teacher, who is amazing, very well known, very respected in the law enforcement community, worldwide, and she is so reasonable to have a consultation with. So, and she's fantastic. So I would love to give you that reference.
Thank you. Let's see. How can I find out who my spirit angel is? I'm assuming you mean spirit guide. There are several steps you can take. You can be walked through it one-on-one by somebody who can guide you, a medium like Kathy or myself. I'm sure either one of us can do that. I have some videos on my YouTube channel, Finding Your Spirit Guide, probably 3 or 4. Again, it's in the playlist, Mediumship Learning and Information. And there are some spirit guide videos in there. It'll walk you through it, or find another person on YouTube that you resonate with. There's a lot of free ones. You can always pay somebody to walk you through it, but I would try the freebie first.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, I'm frugal that way.
So
I'm not a good salesperson.
I don't know if you see Nika's question. It's a wonderful question, and I know we'll both say the exact same thing.
I'm getting lambasted on YouTube for this very thing right now. Nika says, I've read many books written by mediums because of everything I've learned. I no longer believe in hell. What is your experience? 100% agree.
Mm-hmm.
I've made many videos about this. Also, I follow a biblical historian, I think that's what he is, Dan McClellan, on YouTube and TikTok, and he talks about this all the time. Hell, actually, my mom told me this when I was little. Hell was a place where kings and leaders burned their enemies. It was a pit of bodies, and I think it was called Megiddo, if I'm remembering that correctly. and then it was morphed by religion over the centuries into a spiritual place where you burn. That's why they say you burn in hell, because literally in real life, they were burning people's bodies who they didn't agree with. So hell is not a spiritual place. I agree with that completely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting argued with by some interesting people on YouTube right now. So I think you have the same opinion.
Oh yeah. I just
Lorraine wants to know, I'm waiting 10 years to dream of my dad. He was my world. Will I ever dream of him?
Go for it. You
I just did a whole big answer. I don't want to take up all the
so
time.
what I would say is maybe the reason why you're not dreaming of him is because you're trying too hard, which I know it sounds cliche, but if you let that go in your mind, and it's that when people are talking about having a baby, when you're trying so hard and it doesn't happen, and then when you just aren't trying so hard and it just happens. So it's kind of that, like, if we just let go, let it go to spirit, and just, I am ready and open for anything that happens. It'll happen, right? It'll happen. Also, I do always suggest that if you want to have a visitation dream before you go to bed, as you're going to sleep at night, think of a wonderful memory, a wonderful shared memory that you have together. As you're falling asleep, think of every single detail, what you were wearing, how did it smell, was it day, night, where were you? And as you're falling asleep, ask your loved one to join you in your dream and recreate that wonderful memory.
Or look through photo albums or watch
Mm-hmm.
videos before bed. That's another, like if you have any videos of them, hear their voice, see them. That's a good, those are all good suggestions. Christine, what information do you need to connect with loved ones? We will tell you when we get there. Okay, Sandy's great grandma had, we must be way behind on the comments, because this is about didn't speak English, but didn't her dream visit yet. Full moon makes me anxious. You are welcome. Spirit guide, I answered that.
And hi, everybody, for joining. We're just answering some questions, and we're kind of way back in the chat right now.
Yeah.
So we're trying to catch up. And yes, we're going to do some spirit guided readings.
Angie says, have either of you ever connected with a spirit that is much older, like from decades ago? Well, yeah, sure. Yeah, we do. I mean, we do readings all the time. Yesterday I did a reading, and I was speaking to an older gentleman's grandma. So she was much older, from decades ago and passed a long time ago. So yeah, there's no time in the spirit world. If we wanted to, we could connect to, Ramses the Great or Cleopatra, or I don't know, any other historical people.
Right. It's just that you wouldn't know the evidence for bringing through, you couldn't validate the things that we were bringing through. So,
and that brings up another good point. People online who do readings of famous people who are passed away and have no connection to them whatsoever, they're just no. Just big fat no to that. Don't, unless you have a personal connection to the person in spirit, don't ask for a reading about them, because it's not legit. Yeah. Yes, we could connect to anybody from thousands of years ago, a caveman, a dinosaur. I don't know if dinosaurs had souls, but it's just, how would we know if we weren't just making it up? You need somebody to validate.
You have to validate. Yeah, you have to validate, be able to validate the information coming through.
this is interesting. Linda says, I met a woman once a few years back at the grocery store that I instantly disliked so bad that I actually wanted to hit her with the spaghetti squash I was holding. She instantly hated me. I had to leave the store. Sometimes our kind, loving hearts irritate the
Mm-hmm.
demons of others, and I use demons metaphorically. Um, we just people who are just vibrating at a different frequency, if I can use that term, um, who are just very different from us, have a very different outlook. Our energy just doesn't jive.
Right.
We probably all have family members that way, not just strangers on the street, but people we know close to us that we're just like, I want to hit you with a spaghetti squash.
Right.
You go to
We're
Thanksgiving
vibrating
family.
two different levels, right?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, exactly. And my ego would say I'm vibrating at a higher level, but I have to bring that down and say we're just on different
Mm-hmm.
levels.
Yep.
Because I used to say that, and then I'm like, maybe that's a little egotistical. I shouldn't say that. But that's how I felt, like you guys are so
Yeah.
dumb. And
We've learned, right?
yeah,
We've learned.
it takes time. Hello, hello, hello. Hi, hi, hi. Okay, we'll get to messages in a little bit. Just scrolling through. Hello, thank you for the little emojis. Oh. Okay, so just some of you are putting in a lot of details in the chat about your loved ones in spirit. Don't do that because there are scammers on here in this group who just lie in wait, and they'll send you a message and ask you for money to connect, and they'll copy your information that you put on here, and they'll ask you for money, and then you won't get a reading, or you'll get some terrible non-legit reading. So don't put that stuff in there, okay, to protect yourself.
I know it's sad that we have to say that, but it happens in every single one of our lives that we do. But I do have to say that Rita and all of the moderators and admins in this group do a wonderful, wonderful job of trying to
Keep that.
eliminate that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I accidentally started a thread. I didn't know how I did it when I made an event. And I didn't even know what happened. I just got all these alerts. And someone was asking for palms, like pictures of palms. I'm like, why are there pictures of palms? What's going on? And Rita sent me a message and said, you started a thread or something. And I'm like, I don't even know what I did. But they were asking for money and they were taking people's information.
Oh.
So I'm assuming she kicked them out. Courtney wants to know about old souls. What is your opinion on old souls?
Old souls, as far as here on Earth, I feel that old souls are those souls that have been reincarnated and chosen to come here over and over again, and have learned so many lessons that when you talk to like a 5-year-old and you're like, oh my God, they're so wise. It's like they have such an old soul. It's because they've been through this so many times before. So that's what I feel an old soul is somebody who has chosen to reincarnate or come back to this physical world over and over again, and has had many, many experiences and many, many lifetimes.
I read something interesting about old souls and new souls and how we are put in soul groups, and this, I can't remember where I read it. It was in the past couple months, but they were talking about how in our soul family we can break off and join a new soul family depending, and I never thought about that. And they were saying, like you got these 3 immature souls over here, they're just going to stay in a group till they learn some lessons. And then you got these other ones who've been through all these other lessons. And I just thought the way they put it was kind of comical, like, oh, that makes sense. You keep the kindergartners in kindergarten,
Right.
keep until they become a little more mature. I thought it was funny. Joanne wants to know where evil people go. Listen, and everybody's going to be mad as everyone here has had bad things happen to them, some way worse than others, but everybody's had bad experiences at the hands of someone else in some way. Some horrific, some bad, some like, it was kind of bad, but I'll deal with the trauma later. And there are horrible, evil people on earth, but everyone goes to the spirit world. It's one place. It's not a heaven or a hell. It is a realm of existence where our souls reside. And it is pure love, pure unconditional love. It is my opinion, I don't know if Kathy agrees with this, it's the collective consciousness of all the souls of any sentient being in the universe that all resides together and communicates together. And you can be close or far, but again, you're growing your soul through your experiences in any life you have as a human or an alien, if you believe that. The point is to grow our soul and get closer to God or source and just be better.
So I do believe that. I also believe in the life review. And I believe
Yes.
this is where, what we would consider karma happens in our life review, because our soul then has to experience the pain and hurt, and we have to experience all of that we caused. So it's not that souls or humans that they don't get away with things. Like, I like to it's like, but they're going to be at a different level, a different pace. They're going to, when they go through that life review, they're going to have to experience and feel how our words, actions affected others. So I guess you could liken it to karma in spirit world.
And I just skipped over that whole thing. Thank you for saying that. I've heard it described as your life review is you experience, just like you said, every feeling you ever made any person feel. If you made everyone feel great, you're going to feel great. If you made everyone feel horrible, you're going to feel horrible, and you will feel it probably magnified, I would imagine. Because when your soul is pure, it's different.
And I will say that I have had some readings where traumatic things have happened, and the soul comes through to apologize and take responsibility for those things. So once we go to the spirit world, we understand that we caused that pain, we caused that trauma. So I have had those readings where they come through to apologize, they acknowledge what they did, and they apologize for that.
I had that on a live with you one night, and I had to move it over to, email and a private reading because it was so sensitive. Because some things as a medium, you can't just blurt. You shouldn't.
No, yeah.
You shouldn't be blurting stuff out that's very sensitive publicly. Kula wants to know, do you believe in or use tarot cards?
I believe that, yes, they could be a wonderful tool, right? They could be a tool for mediums, but they could be a tool for you too. So you can learn tarot, you can pull your own cards. I also use oracle cards. In fact, I'm so excited. I got 2 new
Oh, that's so beautiful.
spirit animal oracle
That
cards.
is
But
beautiful.
I'm
Those would be
so
great for
excited. I
entry
just got
contests.
them, so I'm so excited to start using
Those
those.
are beautiful. I got a deck of tarot cards and I have not learned how to use them yet, so I'll get there. So, I do believe they're great.
Yeah, they're wonderful tools, and they can be very helpful in guiding, giving us guidance every day.
Let's see. Appeared again, totally embrace the spirit world. Wonderful. Thank you, Lorraine. Hold on about the messages. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Meetings. Yeah, just answering questions.
Is there a way to tell if someone comes to you in a dream or vision, if it's really them or your imagination? Great question.
Well, from my own personal experience, when I have a visitation dream, they leave me feeling relieved. They leave me feeling happy. They leave me feeling at peace. Um, Quite often, I get to hug them in my dream. Quite often, it's just like when my dogs come and visit, it's like, oh my God, they're at the back door. And it's just like, oh, it's just like it was when they were here. And I let them in, and, so visitation dreams should always leave you feeling at peace and wonderful. Okay. So that should help you differentiate between your imagination. Sometimes when we're holding on to things or we have a lot going on, we can subconsciously manifest some things in our dreams. So when that dream doesn't leave you feeling in a good place, or if it's confusing and not in order and just all over the place, that's likely your own manifestation of some things that we need to work out.
I agree. When I have a dream visit, it feels real, and I always feel good and happy, and I have the feeling that they were really with me. Yeah, it should be sequential and in order and feel like a real experience. Oh, great question, Arlene. Can you control when spirits come? That is one of the most important things to learn as a medium, is to control it. Because before I was a medium, they just started showing up, and I was like, do I
What's
need
going on?
to see a doctor? What's happening? Because I had a totally different career. I knew what mediumship was, but this was so shocking and unbelievable that I was like, this is crazy. So I got trained. But yes, one of the things when you become a medium, one of the first things you learn is boundaries and how to make sure spirits aren't just coming in whenever they feel like it. You don't, because they've shown up at my work before when I was working outside of the home. When I'm in a meeting with somebody important, their grandma is just there, and I'm like, we can't do that. So you learn boundaries, and you learn to say, some people go through a whole ritual. I just put it out in my mind. Look, I'm going to Disney World today. I don't need everybody's energy talking to me. There's too many. Just let me be human. Yeah. I don't need 50,000 spirits lined up today. So yeah, and then when you want to have a good night's rest, because I'm sure, Kathy, you've experienced this, they'll show up in your dreams, and you're like, I just want to sleep. Can I just sleep?
Come back
I know this.
tomorrow.
Yeah. I've had them show up in dreams for a reading the next day, because I'm very, busy a lot, and I'm not always remembering to tell them don't show up at night. I forget. So yeah, you have to tell them, you have to learn boundaries and to say, don't show up. But yeah, they can show up anywhere. I've had them in the shower, and they don't care that you're in the shower. They just want to talk because nobody else is talking to you. When you're a mom and a wife and you've got a house, sometimes the quietest place is the shower. So they know they can get your attention in there. I know, that was crazy. This is hard to understand, but I believe it's true. Thank you. Oh, yes. Amanda says, are there spirits trying to reach out as you sit here thinking? Yep. Or talking. Yep.
There's a really good question I want to address. If I'm not sure how far you are, and it's about unaliving.
Oh, go ahead. There's so many questions. We're never going to get through all of them.
Is it true, and I'm so sorry, I don't want to say your name wrong, CUA. Is it true that if you unalive, then you will be stuck in the spiritual world forever until somebody else comes and takes your place for your sin? No, no, no.
No, no, no.
No matter how we transition, we all go back home. Our home, our soul's home is the spirit world. Our soul is never stuck. And in fact, I have been shown over and over and over again that those that choose and make that decision are given extra healing, extra love, extra guidance in the spirit world, because our soul needs it. Our soul needs it. So please know that no matter how you transition, no matter how somebody transitions, we all go back to the spirit world. Our souls are never stuck. Okay.
And I agree completely. And Amanda has a follow-up question to that. And I would just want to say, when someone unalives themselves, they are hurting terribly. They are suffering terribly. So if you believe in a religion that teaches you people who do that go to hell, you also believe in a religion of a merciful God. So those two things don't go together. God, if you believe that, is merciful and wouldn't punish someone who is suffering, and the spirit world will not punish you. And Amanda says, if souls aren't stuck, why are there ghosts here? Because they can come and go.
I was just going to say, because they come and go, and we are energy, right? So just like, and I'll just use this example, and you can help me out on this because you're the scientist, but just like an airplane leaves a little bit of smoke or a little bit of dust behind, our energy leaves a little bit of particles, a little bit of energy behind, like a fingerprint of energy behind. So it could just be some residual energy that's left behind. Or it is because we have the ability to come and go, but we are never stuck.
Right.
That's how I perceive it, and how I have been shown it in my readings.
So going back to the oversoul, I don't know if we talked about that, but we have a big oversoul. And so our soul can have little pieces here and there and everywhere. And so talking about being residual energy, well, it's energy from the oversoul, so it can come and go. If you want to call it residual, it's all the same. It's the energy from the oversoul that can be left behind, but it's not really disconnected. It's still connected. And I think the little trail after the airplane is a really good example, because it still all connects to the airplane, right? Which would be like the soul. Sandy says, wow, really? I have been led to believe that they go to hell. Nope. Do we sign spiritual contracts?
So that's a debatable question for me and everybody. You're probably going to get a different answer from different mediums. But for me, I feel as though we choose our life plan, our life path. But I also believe in free will, so we can change that at any moment in time. So while we come here with a plan or a path, we can definitely change that.
And I feel like similarly, we have an outline like A, B, C, D, and E. We're going to experience A, B, C, D, and E. But how we get to that point can vary. It's not concrete. It's not like predestination where it has to be this way. There are so many variables in human lives, but it's going to be this trauma, that trauma, this good thing, this trauma. So there's going to be goods and bads, and it's going to vary.
Because our soul wants to come here to experience these things. Our soul wants to experience the human experience. Okay? We're souls having a human experience.
So Tracy and Sandy kind of have back-to-back questions about evil people, sick people, people who hurt kids. This was the hardest thing for me as a sensitive person, as an abuse survivor myself, to accept that people who harm us, people who are evil, they still go to the spirit world and they still have that life review. So like we said earlier, if you are a horrible person and you do horrible things, when you go through your life review, you're going to feel that back on you. You're going to feel the way you hurt people. Let's say you harmed someone at 3 years old and they live to be 110, and that harm you did them affected their whole life. You're going to feel that pain. And if you did that to that person, you probably harmed other people along the way too. So you're going to feel that. So it's not hell where you burn. It's a life review where you learn, hey, maybe I shouldn't do that in my next life. Maybe I should
Right.
make
And
some
then
better
you're going to
choices.
choose to come back and say, okay, I need to make up for that. How am I going to do that?
Right. And then
But,
A, B, C, D,
mm-hmm.
E, this is what I'm going to do. Maybe you're a child advocate. You know, maybe you adopt 10 foster kids, you know, some way to even it out. You're welcome. Arlene says, do you ladies believe in God and he gave you a gift to soothe others? Do you want to go first?
I believe in source, right? I believe that within us is God is within all of us. I don't necessarily think that there is one God. I think we are all God. So I believe in source. And I also believe that what Nicole and I do isn't necessarily a gift. It's just an ability. And it's an ability that we all have because we're all souls. We all come from the same spirit world. It's just whether or not we choose to develop those skills and use those, or develop those abilities and use those abilities, right?
Yep.
Just like, you know, if you're a professional, like everybody can sing, but not everybody's really good at it. You know, it's kind of like that. We all have the ability to communicate with the spirit world and communicate with our loved ones. It's just, you know, are we going to study it and are we going to use it?
Right.
That's what I
And
think.
use it for good and use it properly
Right.
and ethically.
Right.
That's a whole
Yeah.
other thing. Some people have a little bit of the gift and they don't really get properly trained, and then they go out in public and they charge people money. The things we see on social media, and people are making a ton of money and they are not doing this properly, and they're doing more harm than good.
They're doing it more for an ego, right?
Mm-hmm.
For their
Mm-hmm.
ego than for their soul.
I believe in a God that's a source. I really believe, I'm more of a pantheist than anything. And if you don't know what a pantheist believes the universe is God. So God has been transmuted over the millennia into a singular deity who's a single man. That is not what God is. Um, I could go on and on for hours about that alone, about that one sentence, but I believe in the collective consciousness of the universe. All the energy of the universe is all interconnected. It's kind of like trees underground. They have these connections. It's called the mycelium, where they all communicate with each other. And I feel like that's how our souls are all connected to the universal source or God or whatever, however you want to define it. But as far as something that is a higher power, yes, because I am not that higher power. I don't believe I'm the one that could make decisions for all of the universe and humanity, but I believe I'm part of that. Part of me is that God source. I know that was kind of a long explanation, but I think about it a lot because I grew up in an organized religion. So we answered that. Yes, Dipti says, can my loved one hear me and see me, whatever's happening in my kid's life? Yep, they can see everything. Rosa says, my mother-in-law passed away last Saturday and I saw her 2 days ago. I always see them a few days after they pass. Is that normal? It is not abnormal. That means you have mediumship abilities. That's how I found out I was a medium. Something very similar like that happened to me like twice in a row. And I'm like, whoa. And then I got trained. So yeah, that just means you have mediumship abilities. If you want to learn more, email me. I'll put my email back in there, and or you can go on my YouTube channel and watch my videos. I have a whole playlist about it. Ooh, this is a great question. Dawn says, why do some die young and some die old?
So, what I believe, and from my experience as a medium, now again, this is just what I believe from my experience. I also don't believe that everything is black and white. Um, there's always a gray area. So, in my experience, it is because we, as a soul, have chosen to come here, do a certain amount of work, and then exit, right? Now, I know that sounds so terrible, right? Because sounds so unfair. It sounds like, why do some people only live for a short time and others? But in my experience, this is what our soul path, our soul journey, this is what um, our soul wanted to experience here in this physical world. So I know it's hard, right? It's very hard because we look at people that, and children that, come here and experience tragedy and illness and suffering. It's very hard to understand and accept that.
Yes, it is. It's very hard. But when you're communicating with the spirit world, like I almost get so matter of fact about it. I had to apologize to a client, yesterday or the day before, because I was like, I'm sorry if I sound very matter of fact about this, but I am so sure that your child is safe and at peace, that they are in a flash, you'll be there with them. And so they're not worried about you. You're worried about them and they're fine. And I have a client who's probably on here who has given me permission to talk about her preemie granddaughter that I gave her a reading for, told me she was on the council. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. But her short, tiny life was so meaningful and impactful to the family that it affected the whole family. And there were reverberations throughout the family. And that may have been her very purpose, to be there for that short of a period of time. And I wanted to ask you, do you believe in exit points, Kathy? I don't know that we've ever talked about that.
I don't know yet. I've had, I'm on the fence. I've had some readings where it's been, this is like, I had either this or this, so I chose this way. So it's like, I did have it, they say I had an exit point, and if it wouldn't have been this, it would have been this. So I chose this way. So I believe that, yes, we do. It's just whether or not what our soul chooses, and again, with free will, right?
Okay. Because I had, when I was 6 months old, I drowned. Did I ever tell you that story? I don't remember it, obviously. My family told me. My dad had to pull me out under, the water and I don't know what he did, but I'm here. And I always wondered, was that an exit point? Because I had some reasons
I think
to exit. I had some reasons to exit.
It probably could have been, but your soul has free will to make another choice. So maybe you give yourself different exit points. And like I said, if it's not this, it's going to be this. That's just what I've been shown in readings. Like if this wouldn't have happened, B would have happened. So
yes. Yeah. So my understanding of exit points is there's like 3, 4, or 5 times in your life where you get to choose stay or go. That's what I was taught. Do you agree with that? Yeah. Okay. Just wondering. Okay. All right. We're behind again. Just made a connection for me. Good, Maureen. Why do some people have more trauma in their lives? Sadly, because we plan it. We plan a certain amount of that. How would you know it's improper the way others do this work? Oh, Paige, that is a great question. My opinion, and I'll just be very frank and honest, when you're smoking on a live, when you're cursing on a live, when you're asking people to send you money on a private message and you never give them a reading, when you're duplicating people's pages and pretending you're them, when you're stealing people's content, When you're lying to people, when you're giving the same information repeatedly to multiple different people without real evidence, that is, you're just scamming people. There has to be ethics involved, and you have to understand what you're doing.
The main thing with mediumship, right, in these connections, spiritual connections, is to do no harm. And you just want to make sure that you never do harm. And there are, unfortunately, people out there that just see, dollar signs and do take advantage. So I think that's probably what, we were talking about.
I'm just answering a question
Sure.
on here. I have to type it.
My throat is very scratchy.
Sorry, we're a little behind.
But I do want to answer Tony's question. Why not? Are spirits scared of one's grief, or do they try to help? So every reading I've ever done, spirit understands that grief is part of the human experience, right? So they're not scared of grief. They understand that this is part of the experience. And yes, they are there to help and guide you through that experience and guide you to healing and towards healing. So
and then someone asked, Nika said, what are your views on angels such as archangels and ascended masters such as Jesus and Buddha? I talked about this on the last live. I love Jesus. I have a great book about him. I don't know where I put it. I love Jesus and Buddha. Anybody whose true message, not a distorted message that's been filtered. True message is to do no harm, like Kathy said, love everyone unconditionally, help those who need help the most, put your ego aside. Anybody with that type of message, I'm all for it. I don't know a lot about angels and archangels. I just haven't had a lot of experiences. What about you, Kathy?
Yeah, I haven't had much experience with archangels, but if you want, I have remember Barbara from our development classes?
Oh, I love Barbara.
Wonderful. So I'm happy to give you a reference if you want more information or you want to learn about them. Email me and I will refer you to somebody that is one. She's wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And she communicates with her archangels like every day. So she would be somebody that could answer any questions that you have. So if you are interested in reaching out to her, send me an email and I will give you her information.
I'm just typing our websites in. Yeah, Barbara has the most beautiful, gentle demeanor. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful.
So it's already 8:40. So you want to get to some readings?
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
We have a lot of questions and maybe we haven't answered them all yet, and I'm sorry, but I want to make sure that we do leave some time for those readings. Is there any question that you see that?
I'm just putting in our email and websites because people are asking.
Perfect.
And I have to do the one finger typing. So it takes forever.
I'll just explain how I'm going to work tonight. I'm going to connect to the spirit world, and